There's a class of 24 students, and you come to find out that every single kid has either an Xbox or a PS4. None of them have both systems. So we want to mess around with some of the probabilities on their grade point averages and see if there's a relationship between what system they have. So you take a look at basically, does the student have below or above a 3.0? And here's what the numbers look like. Now if you look at the numbers, looks like the Xbox is pretty evenly matched. Some of the kids are above 3.0 and some of the kids are below, about halfway. And on the PS4, a lot of the kids that have a PS4 have above a 3.0. So let's take a look at some of the probabilities based on this. So now you say event A is going to be that the student has above a 3.0, and event B is going to be that they have a PS4. So let's do the probability. The probability of event A. So the probability of event A is you pick a kid at random out of this class and say, what's your grade point average? What's the probability that they have above a 3.0? Well, there's 24 kids in the class, and 16 of them have above a 3.0. So that seems pretty straightforward, and it would be 16 out of 24. Now, what about having a PS4? Again, you just randomly pick a kid and say, hey, what do you have? Do you have a PS4 or do you have an Xbox? And you notice that there are 10 students that have the PS4, so 10 out of 24. So the probability of event B, the probability that they have a PS4 is going to be 10 out of 24. Let's get the decimal representation for that. So you have about a 67% chance of picking a kid that has a 3.0 and a 42% chance of picking a kid that owns a PS4. But what if you have a condition? You say, well, what's the probability that you pick a kid with a grade point average that's higher than 3.0, provided that they own a PS4? Well, that's a little bit different. Let's write that down. So again, we take a look and say, well, this is saying, given that they own a PS4, what's the probability that they have a 3.0 or higher? So we say, okay, just the people that own a PS4, that's the condition. That's what we call this conditional probability. That's the condition. We start with that. Okay, they own a PS4. How many of them have a 3.0 or higher? Right there. Okay, so that's what we put down. Let's do it. And we end up with 77.77. So we got about a 77% chance of, provided a kid has a PS4, what's the chance that they have a 3.0 or higher? Okay. Now, based on the data that I looked at over here, it looks like the PS4 is much better for your grades than the Xbox. But let's check it out. Let's do the same thing. Let's do a conditional probability for, what if we say, what's the probability that you have above a 3.0, 3.0 or higher, I guess, provided that you have an Xbox. So we're going to put that as event C. So let me write that down. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this. The condition is that the student owns an Xbox. So we say, what is the probability that the student has a 3.0 provided that they own an Xbox? So we start here. Okay, they have an Xbox. How many have a 3.0? All right, that doesn't seem so bad. Let's write that down. So yes, the PS4 is better for your grades than the Xbox. So from this study that has tons of flaws in it, you could make that argument. Okay, there you go.